From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Morning guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you can imagine, I never intended for this to be a two-part series on the upgrades for the SPI Mini, but such is the nature of minis that what can take you 5 or 10 minutes on one car can take you half a day on another car, and that's certainly the case with some of these upgrades. They were a little bit more involving than I originally anticipated. So anyway, where we left off in the last episode was we were halfway through fitting the rear quarter electric window kit, so let's continue. Okay guys, I managed to solve my alignment problem simply by rotating this socket joint by 90 degrees, and now it does actually close. It's not quite getting to that last snap lock because it's having to overcome brand new window rubbers, but I would imagine over time that's going to improve. So now we've got to focus on the cabling. Now in the Japanese cars, they mount the controller box for the windows on the cross member against the door, but I've got door pockets on, which means you can't actually get your hand down the side of the seat to do this. Now fortunately you can mount the control box where you want, because it is simply just Velcro straps on the bike to attach to the carpet itself. So I think I'm going to mount mine at the side of the handbrake because I've got a little bit more space there, and that will allow me to run the harness under the edge of the carpet here to the back, making it a lot cleaner. It's often the case with a Mini that you solve one problem only to come across another one. So the shaft has cleared the chair quite nicely on this side and the motor is hidden behind quite nicely, but I've got the 40th anniversary leather interior, which is a little bit thicker, and as a result on this side you can see the shaft is being pushed over to one side. Why one side fits versus the other, I have no idea, but I need to look at the spacing on the motor to try and figure out if I can move that a little bit further. So I'll quickly jump in at this point guys, because I did actually try the seat bike from my 1980s Mini, and it fits in the car without interfering with those two flexible shafts. So clearly there is an issue with the later shape of the rear backs, and maybe it's only related to the anniversary seats. I'm not sure. Not entirely sure I'm going to resolve this, because obviously I'm not going to throw in interior for the sake of a window opener. But anyway, I think I need to sleep on that one. So I think at this point in the video you're probably realizing that this is not a quick job. It's quite involving, and there's a lot of trial and error involved with fitting the kit, but nonetheless we've got the controller box in place, the cable's running quite nicely under the edge of the carpet. Just need to connect the live and the earth now. I'm quite pleased with the position of this because it does clear the handbrake, no issue. So I think it's quite a nice place to place that controller box. Okay, control box and wiring now in place and everything fitted and working. Just need to resolve that interference with the rear seat back on the passenger side, but I think it's time to move on to the next job. Okay guys, this next upgrade is not only an upgrade, but it's also a preventative step, because the SPI Mini has started to develop a very interesting characteristics related to its throttle. It's probably best if I show you, so let me just cut to this clip so I can demonstrate the behavior. When we're driving the car I can take my feet off the accelerator pedal, and it seems to stick around about 2000 revs, which is about 60 kilometers an hour. Now the only way to get it to stop doing that is to blip the pedal, and then it actually reduces its speed. Now two things could be causing this problem. It could be the linkage kit on the back of the engine. It could also be the stepper motor in the throttle body, so we'll need to investigate. Now, these jobs are more involving than the other upgrades because it does require quite a lot of disassembly, and in fact the linkage kit is particularly difficult because this is on the back of the engine and access to that area is very tight, so I'm not entirely sure that I can video that to show you, but what I will do is I will show you on the back of the engine that I've got spare at the side of me. So this is the back of the engine, and as you can see this is where the kick down or the throttle linkage is. Now the one that's on the engines originally is made from plastic, and as you can see on this engine it's already split here, and then they tend to stick. So the idea would be to use this aluminium one with a sealed bearing to replace the old one. Now the challenge is that it's a very small space when the engine is in the car to try and get to this, and it's not easy to video either, so I'm not entirely convinced I can show you how to do this. But nonetheless, what you should do is, if you can gain access to this piece, it does require a gasket, which means you should drain the oil on the engine before you attempt to do this repair. The other potential culprit that's creating this problem with the throttle is potentially the stepper motor, which is buried inside the throttle body housing here. So if you get corrosion on those electrical contacts over time, it can create a signal problem. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top. We'll try doing the stepper motor first before we go to the linkage at the back and on the bottom of the motor, purely because this one is a little easier to get to than the one on the bottom of the engine. When you do this job, don't forget to disconnect the power from your battery, and be careful when you're taking your air filter off, because the oxygen sensor is underneath. Now it's a case of disconnecting all of the sensors and the linkage kit so that we can get to the throttle body. So let me just try and show you this. So there's a series of Phillips screws that you need to undo in order to get the top plate off to get to the stepper motor below. So we need to undo those. So I've disconnected the fuel hose. I've marked this one just to make sure that it's the inlet one, not the outlet version, and I've removed the 4 torque bolts from inside the injection head, and then you can actually lift this away, and that'll give you easier access to these plates on the side. Okay guys, all the nuts and bolts and screws are being removed from this top plate, including the linkage. So now you can see I can remove the stepper motor. Be careful not to lose that plate underneath, because you need that to trap it in place. So once you've done that, this is what you're left with. This is where your stepper motor was seated. So now we just need to reverse engineer. So once you put that plate back on the bottom of the stepper motor, it should look like this. Now we need to fit it into there. There you go guys, everything reconnected. I just need to put the air filter back on and reconnect the oxygen sensor, and then we can see if that has cured the problem. Okay guys, everything's reassembled, so let's prime the pump and then see if she will start. Time to take her for a run. So guys, it seems like that has definitely solved the problem. Acceleration is way better, throttle more responsive, and it is not holding the revs when I remove my foot from the accelerator. So it looks like the kit down kit would only improve things further because it was the stepper motor. So guys, that's it for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, all those things that are good for the channel, and look forward to talking to you soon. Bye bye.